Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Court of Swords. JP McDaniel, joined by the entire crew. It's a surprise show. We weren't supposed to have a show this week, but we're having a show.
Yeah,
so
we
we're
is.
Here. And let's do the
Yay.
show. Dan, talk to me about... Surprise indeed. Dan, talk to me about Resident Evil 7. Is it great?
Resident Evil 7 is the best one since 4, easily.
Whoa.
It's up there with 4. It's
That's high
very
praise.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Four was the one
more...
with the chainsaw, right? The chainsaw controller. Is that a GameCube one? Am I thinking of that one?
4 is the one where they kind of went towards the action the first time.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
the first action-y one. Yeah,
It's with Leon Kennedy
stuff.
in the blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite good. It's there's a lot more horror in it than there is even from the beginning ones. And it kind of plays a little bit like Outlast mixed with Resident Evil. That first person point of view the whole time.
That's what it kind of looked like when I tuned into. I think I tuned into Brennan last night playing a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that. It seemed like it had that kind of similar, very smooth, very fluid first person point of view.
I feel like everybody kind of had that reaction to the trailer, right? Like, remember it was on the Sony thing and we were all watching it and it was like, okay, what game is this? What is this? Is this a new Outlast? This is Outlast. This is totally Outlast.
Right.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that they cashed in on that. I think that was intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
You definitely tell they saw how well Outlast sold and how well PT's popularity was. It reminds me of PT as well. And they're like, well, if Konami's not going to cash in on this, we will.
Yeah. Are you playing it with VR or no?
No, I'm playing it normal.
Okay.
I might try VR at some point.
I was watching Maximilian last night with VR, and I think Co was doing VR this morning as well. But they both they seem like people that don't get too scared by horror games, and they were getting real fucking scared by Resident Evil 7 with VR. Because I mean, you can tell in the game they script everything since it's first person to be like right in front of your fucking face, and I couldn't ever imagine that to be in VR.
Have you ever? I know you've done a lot of VR, JP. Have you other three done a lot of VR stuff?
Not a lot, no.
There's something biological that I'm totally not used to. I was doing some demo of it was in bright pastel colors, really happy world, low resolution, low polygon count. And I turn, and there's a happy little guy going "Hello, Sean," but I turn, and he's right fucking here, and something happened. Every orifice puckered. I screamed at it and fell over because it's just having a thing be here is weird because you're used to all these other sensory cues sound and rustling and movement, and you get none of those. He's just here now.
Yeah.
And when I saw that Alien Isolation was in VR, I was like, I'm never playing VR. I can't do that. I gotta stay away
Sean,
just in case.
The things that got me was there's points where they make it very they confine the space that you're able to actually move the character in, and so you're walking down you're squeezing through a corridor, right? And then they have fucking centipedes start crawling from on the sides, and then one drops down right on your face and shit as you're walking through. I'm just like, nope, I'm out. I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah,
I would never be able to do that.
Is everybody that's doing that on VR, is it through Oculus
It's
on
PSVR.
Steam from what I saw? And it's PSVR, right? PSVR is what most people...
It's only PSVR. I don't think, unless you hack it to play Oculus, you can do that. But
that gets me, yeah, stuff like Vive, I'm like, that would be so cool on the Vive. I mean, apparently the PSVR is pretty decent. I think I've put it on once.
Yeah, maybe? I have no issues with it. It's great.
Yeah, and apparently it's super easy to hook up. So, and that's a game where you're meant to be sitting the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no.
No, it is.
Okay.
You sit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has some room scale functionality, but for the most part, you're just going to be sitting and moving your head. The best effect that I've seen was Max and Co. Whenever they would enter a new room or about to enter into a hallway, you can lean forward and tilt your head to see what's in the hallway to the left and the right before even entering into it. And so there were multiple times last night when Maximilian was doing it, and he would lean forward, and one of the creatures would lean his head forward on the other side of the wall, and it would be right in front of his face, and he'd just go, ah! He'd get his gun ready and just start shooting at it. But every time he did it, it was scared as fuck.
That's what
nice.
got... Oh, go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's nice that those little body movements translate into VR, right? Because we all do that even if we're not playing VR. I know when I'm playing a game, especially a tense one, and I'm walking up to the edge of a cliff. I'm like getting up out of my seat and kind of like leaning forward. I'm like, what am I doing? It's not helping. There's something
just like if
here.
you're doing any sort of like flight game, you do like the kind of lean to the left and to the right kind of thing. But yeah, that was the first thing that like kind of like, you know how you for any new like iteration of like gaming tech, you kind of like wait for that moment where you're like, oh shit, this is new and like I've never experienced that before. That's kind of what it was for me when I first tried like, I don't know, some horror game or whatever on the Oculus for VR. That was like my first VR proper experience. And I like first one was like getting close. Say this is like a lamp. My mic is a lamp. I get up to it and I'm like, oh fuck, that's weird. And then the exact moment that you're that sensation that you're describing, like going through a doorway and going like,
yeah, like and they do that. They fuck with that a ton. I mean, Dan can attest to it. He's played it, but like everyone I was watching, you would like approach a door and then they just like jump through the fucking door and grab you, or they put your hand and it like comes around on the visor and like grabs your head and twists you around, or just shit like that where like they are purposely fucking with you for VR. And I don't know if it really translates that well. Dan, you can tell me if it does, to like playing in first person, or if it just comes off a little bit gimmicky.
I'm not playing it in VR, and a lot of that stuff just it's sort of like an Outlast. Like they do kind of little things like that in Outlast. They don't scare you quite as much as if you were wearing it on your face.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't new territory, right? Like 3D, when 3D started coming out in movies, there were a lot of movies that directed for that were like, we could have this spaceship fly like kind of to the side or right up your fucking nose. Right? And so we'll see, I think, games become more subtle about this as time goes on, but probably not horror games, because horror games, for the most part, they're about that jump scare. And if you can jump scare 6 inches from someone's face.
I was, well, go ahead.
I've shit my pants plenty of times, though. Like, I didn't need the VR to get scared. Like, you walk past the wall like 100 times, and then just one time, bam, right through the fucking wall, and it just makes you shit your pants and stuff like that. I
have a really hard time streaming horror games, because I find that streaming them makes me take them less seriously, which makes them less scary, which makes it not a thing that people watch. Like, because people watch horror games, I think, to see you get scared.
That's funny, huh?
Yeah, Sean just gets straight up fucking terrified.
I'm scared talking about it. I feel fear right now.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It's like, it's like watching a scary movie alone in the dark by yourself is one thing, but like, you're in a room of 400 people and you're just shit talking it the whole time with all these bright lights on it. It totally takes away that fear experience.
I think,
but you can't get away from being startled. That's a totally different thing, and that's still
I was just gonna say that I don't get easily scared. I do get like easily startled.
Yes,
so like,
totally.
So those jump scares will get what I don't want to say easily, but those are the ones that like I think a lot of times when I have, and it's a rarity on my stream for me to stream spooky games for that reason, that I don't really get like genuinely scared as much. When people watch me for scary games, it's like he's going to be cynical throughout the entire thing and just like kind of pick apart everything. That's, I guess, a draw on its own. But
I think for both of you,
get properly scared.
If you played the PSVR version of Resident Evil, you would both get scared, because it totally like everyone that I've watched do it. And anytime I do VR, you're not in your room. You're in whatever you're in VR.
As we're talking about it, I'm thinking about, like, I've been on the fence of getting a PSVR, but this is kind of now making me interested and want to play it, because it definitely can happen. I can get scared. It's just I'm not Sean. Like,
I like that. I can get scared.
It's possible to frighten me.
Right.
Just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, I would even, when we were doing like hover junkers with me and Sir Scoots, and like he loads in as an actual avatar behind me, and I would hear his voice behind me, and I would rotate, and I would see his face right in front of mine. That would even scare me. So the idea of playing Resident Evil 7 as a game of the horror genre made for VR is just, it's a little bit too much for me. I don't know if I could even last like 20 or 30 minutes in it. Ko was saying that after 4 hours, like all of the jump scares and stuff were actually fucking with him, and he had to like take a break because he was legitimately not in a good place mentally. So he just had to take it off after about an hour.
Yeah, I mean, when you're streaming like that, a game, normally you go for hours and hours on end. And if it is genuinely frightening you, every single like jump scare and keeping you on edge like the entire time, that's emotionally draining.
Yeah, being terrified for 4 hours straight. There's a word for that. It's called torture.
Yeah,
and we use it to make people admit to crimes they didn't commit, and don't do it to yourself. Like, terrifying. It's horrible.
The one thing I will say, I watched Carcinogen SDA or some a smaller streamer yesterday that had a lot of viewers because he was streaming Resident Evil 7 before it was actually out. And like
he's a speedrunner.
Yeah, okay, he's a speedrunner. I could see that he was, because he was playing in VR, and he was just not scared. He would just like walk down the hallway. Oh, there's a guy.
Motherfucker got no time to be scared.
But then he would just like turn and look. Oh, there's a guy down there, and he'd just shoot him and back up and be like, I think I need to go get that key.
Lie to me. Yeah. The guy would immediately suspect that he was a psychopathic serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was.
That guy probably has sex with corpses. I think that's what we just discovered. Like,
oh, murder and mayhem, my every Sunday night.
It was so funny. He was just walking. Oh, that's one of those scary. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot that in the head a couple times. I had this new ammo's really good. I wonder if I could use that in the run. I'm just like, how are you not scared? Like. You just don't give a fuck what is going on. You're thinking about how to speedrun this, and that because he immediately started a second playthrough. I think now he's on his third or fourth of the game, but I don't understand it.
I do want to try it in VR sometime, but for me, the PSVR, it's very low res, and I always have to constantly adjust the thing up and down, and it gets really sweaty up in there. So I didn't want to do that for like 4 or 5 hours. But I would like to try small chunks, maybe like an hour here, hour there of doing VR, but. Yeah, like the PSVR itself is kind of. I want to wait for Oculus or something a little more higher quality.
Sure.
Well, while we were doing the countdown, I was saying to these guys that like, yeah, I've had some like pretty cool experiences with VR so far, but I don't know that I want to stream it because I'm just too cute to cover it all up with the VR headset. So I keep the merchandise available for the audience.
I have seen like Maximilian and Co. both like almost every 10-15 minutes. Lift up their headset and be like, "Oh, thanks so and so for all the like." There's
That's
no way
the one
to.
Thing, yeah.
Co has like a built-in tracker for when he does PC VR, where he just looks up and it has all that stuff right there, but he can't do it with the PlayStation.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like, as far as I know, Vive and Oculus, they have like plug-in things that that are available to see whatever your donations and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. And I feel like that's until that happens, I don't think we're gonna see as many people streaming. VR quite as much. I know that's something that's not appealing to me. Like I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to stream this, but if I do stream, say, Resident Evil on the PSVR, I'm probably going to put in the title like limited chat engagement. Stay in focus.
Very
exactly.
Dude, the greatest thing ever is when JP, you were doing VR and you were doing it in that open room when there was a little camera of you in the room. Yeah. And like you were like on the ground trying to with sniper fire. That was the funniest thing
that was
I've
sick.
ever seen.
It was great. The best part of that, I forgot what game it was, but I was playing in this room, not in the big room over there where the couches are, and I didn't know that I was turned facing those shelves, and something came up to me, and I just go bam and punch straight forward, and like I hit the edge of or like the middle thing of the shelf and like fucked up my hand and like knocked over a couple of statues.
Oh god!
It's the early days of the Wii all over again.
It really is. That never happened to me with the Wii, but with VR, you lose sense of where you're at in a room.
You really do. That's happened to me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would even like play games with it. Like before, I was like, okay, I think I'm in this part of the room. I take off my headset. I'm in a completely different area. So many different times. So I don't know.
Watching someone play VR who's like really, really into it, you can see that they've lost sense of themselves in a space.
Yeah.
And like it's like watching the Star Wars kid video, but they don't know they're Star Wars kid. Like they're just flailing around with no balance, hitting things and falling down. And I think that's weirdly like that's the kind of content a lot of people like. They're like, let's watch JP punch a shelf.
Yeah. I hope that I'm hoping that a lot of people do play RE7 on PSVR because it's only gonna promote more VR experiences and show developers that like, hey, this actually can make money. Yeah. Because right now on like the PC stuff, the Oculus and Vive, there's not that many full-on AAA devs making content for it yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask, other than Batman, and that was just kind of like a sort of demo-esque, like correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't super long, the Batman PSVR experience thing, or was that pretty long?
3 or 4 hours. There's a little bit, there's a lot of stuff to do in it.
As far as I know, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like the first kind of really like long-form AAA kind of VR title that's really come out, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I would as far as I'm aware of, like Thumper was out and is good, but it's totally like a little indie thing.
Yeah.
But
and the fact that it is
for big ones, no, I think that's the first.
The fact that it is apparently pretty fucking good is, like you're saying, JP, like that's exciting to me. Hopefully proven to developers to be like, all right, yeah, this is worth our time. Like if we do it right and maybe put it on something like the PSVR, something that's kind of mass available and a little cheaper than say your Oculus and your Vives, it actually can do well. So I don't know.
And I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about it, but I got the chance to play Lone Echo, and that was like a true holy shit moment for me.
Is that indie? Is it AAA? What is that?
It was by the people who did The Order 1886.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, it felt AAA when I played it.
Yeah, that's being funded by Oculus Studios, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was really sick. Like, it's probably the only game I've ever played in VR that I wasn't like, oh, this is a gimmick. Oh, look at this cool gimmick with a camera on my head.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like Fruit Ninja. Fruit Ninja's really fun to play in VR. I don't know if you guys know how to cut fruit in half with a sword, but I do now. It's really tight. But like this game was super sick. I don't know if they have any footage of it anywhere.
There's a trailer for it. I'm watching right now. Just seeing what it looks like.
Lone Echo, you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
cool.
Sick.
Sean, you know what else?
Hold on while we watch this.
Sean, you know what else has VR?
Huh?
You know what else has VR? Dota 2. Talk to me about Dota 2, man. How's it going?
Yeah, I love Dota 2 VR. Like, hold on, let me check top lane.
I watched a little bit of the international with the stupid headset on, and I was like, I'm just fucking taking this shit off.
So here's the thing: is that there's like a couple different reasons people play games, right? Like there's like, for instance, I want to learn fundamentals and be able to succeed in a game. So I've been playing a lot of Viper, who's very simple in a lot of dimensions to allow me to focus on the ones that I want to do. Another reason you might play a game is because of the fantasy about it, right? And for me, that's Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit is so fucking cool. Night. Oh my God, so I played Ember Spirit a whole bunch of games in a row. I lost every game and my team hated me so much. They hated me, oh my God. And they're all yelling at me in different languages and shit, and I don't even know how to respond. I'm saying everything I know. I'm like, Suka Bliat, Necesito Garbanzo. Like, I don't know how to fucking placate these angry foreigners, man. It's like so stressful, but like I genuinely felt bad, but I didn't know how to say that, and they just kept typing SSSSSSSSS at me. They're going and I don't know if this means something. I don't know if it's
you're playing with a bunch of people from Cobra Stan, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, go to bottom lane, plan towards. Like, I don't know. I didn't know, but it was really hard for me. And let me tell you, I discovered what it feels like to be bad again at a hero. Oh my God, because I've been playing a very limited pool. So
yeah, I did the same. I've been playing a lot with Strippin. We've been playing about 10 or 11 games a night, and I started playing techies. And man, do people hate you if you pick techies at any level? They just fucking
on your team.
Yeah, they just fucking hate you. Like, just not like, oh fuck, we lost. You picked techies. Way to fucking go. Then we'd lose. I'd be like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't pick techies. The next game would come up, I'd be like, I think I'm gonna go techies, and Sam would just get real upset. I'd be like, sorry, we're gonna lose, but I'm gonna have fun with them. So I'm trying to learn that heroes.
Games a night. Yeah, that's insane.
He's techies is tough to use. But then I started playing more CM last night and trying to support, and that was fun. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, last night was truly an awful experience. Like, I got shit on. Everyone was mad. They yelled at me. And then I was like, I'm going to play a ranked match with Lion. I play a ranked match. Centaur War Runner decides to jungle, dies to the jungle creep at like 45 seconds into the game, and mid lane disconnects. And I'm like, oh my God. And we just try to finish it. And here's the worst part. You can win 4v5s in Dota. So there was always hope, but we kept winning these fights, and then our PA would be like, oh, push mid, and he would just like jam down mid alone and die, and you're like, I'm really sorry, I'm so sorry, and you could hear in his voice he was like upset, like he was really like on the verge of tears, like really felt bad genuinely that he kept dying, and that was my night. That was what happened to me. Like, and I gotta say, I'm so happy to be playing a game where I can have nights that just are horrible, as opposed to these games that are just fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a fine experience. I want to have some days where it's bad and it hurts. And the next day there's glorious triumph. And I feel like I had a great week and drinks are on me. Like, that's what I want, man.
Okay.
So so I'm going to play for another like 6 hours tonight if you want to join in.
I still can't play ranked games. It takes so fucking long and the leveling process just makes no sense to me. I don't understand it at all. I started at level 12 and so did Sam, and then all of a sudden Sam's like level 19 like 2 days later and I'm still 13. Like, I don't understand why he levels so much faster. He doesn't get any kills. He goes supports. He goes like 3 and 20. That's why I'm like, well, shit. Maybe I need to try other roles. I don't know anything what you
guys are talking about, so I'm just being an asshole.
No, yeah, I wish I could I tried playing support. I tried playing different roles, I just don't understand how the XP system works. So I still can't do ranked games after like 70 new games. So
yeah, I mean, even so, like, I feel like that is another way of saying, hey, whatever you do, don't be a dick and get banned. Because look how hard it is to get back to where you were.
It's really hard, yeah. Did you have you gotten any reports in your little progress reports that they give you every 25 games? Have you gotten those?
Like if I received a report?
Yeah.
That's
It'll
nice.
like tell you how many
back to high
reports you've
school.
got. Yeah, they give you a progress report, like how you've done.
Sorry,
like
junior high.
have you been commended? Have you been reported? All that stuff.
I got 4 reports from my Game December Spirit. No, I clean 4. I think they were speaking Tagalog. Like, I don't know. They were like Tagalog. A little how's it pronounced?
Tagalog.
Tagalog, yeah, man.
I think they were speaking Tagalog.
Yeah, no, like seriously, I want you to know that that's an example of the cultural gap I wish I didn't have to express my sincere apologies and how bad it was going. But I got 4 reports. Yeah. And other than that, I gobbled the commends, man. Like I'm at a rigged casino. I get so many commends.
I got a lot of reports as techies because they would just like talk shit to me. And all I would do is just say like, I'm pushing this cart. It's real heavy, just nonstop over and over. They would just report me every single fucking game because that's all I would say over and over. It's great. So don't pick techies if you want to have teammates that actually like you and think you contribute to the team. You won't have a good time.
So great.
I tuned into Sean for a second when he was playing Dota when I was about to leave somewhere, so I didn't have time. But I tuned in for a moment, and I immediately heard him go, "I fly into a rage." And I was like, that sounds about right.
Yeah, well,
that sounds about right.
On Friday when I streamed, I had literally the best game I have ever had of Dota in my life. And I was like, guys, this is not normal. This is not normal. I went like 29-1 or something.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
It was great.
It's good stuff for sure. Mr. Adam with the new pink hair. Is that a different shade of pink or is it just brighter than usual because it's newer?
It's just a re-up on the old shade.
Okay. There's some purple in there too, right? Or am I blind? Okay.
No, you got it.
Yeah. Webcams do give good color, it turns out.
It's true. Yeah.
What have you been playing? How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been playing role-playing games, which is my jam. I'm almost done with Dishonored. I've been playing Chrono Trigger. I'm kind of all over the place right now.
That is all over the place. Chrono Trigger. I thought you finished that.
No, I did Final Fantasy VI. I'm doing Chrono Trigger. Probably do Earthbound next.
Oh, Earthbound's a pretty good game.
Earthbound's a pretty good game. Yeah, Chrono Trigger's not as good as I remember it being. It's
really
good, but it's not like I don't know.
I think I might have this. It's a pretty good game.
It is a good game. The boss fights are badly designed, is all I'm saying. Like they try to make them difficult by giving the bosses way too many hit points, and you figure out how to beat it, but you still have to fight it for 20 minutes to like get it killed.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, I think it's one of those things, and you guys talked about this during the Final Fantasy fandom. I think that with those early RPGs, it's all about like when you played them and how you felt about them the first time. And Chrono Trigger, I kind of missed the boat as a kid on Chrono Trigger, so I'm not as susceptible. I was Final Fantasy VI. I was just like, this is the best game ever because I played it when I was a kid and I loved the shit out of it. But
yeah, I played Chrono Trigger like 2 or 3 times as a kid, and I've played it once as an adult. I think it was on like one of the Game Boys, whatever the fucking or one of the DSs.
It came out for the DS. Yeah,
I played it as a travel game.
It's still one of the like top RPGs of its generation, but I wouldn't put it in like the top 3 necessarily. But
the music's pretty good though. The music
is really good.
Yeah, probably top 3.
Yeah, no arguing that for sure.
It's good stuff. And then are you here tomorrow? Or are you here Thursday? When do you get in San Antonio for PAX?
Well, I'm from a little country we call Canada, so getting from Vancouver to literally anywhere that's not LA or San Francisco means traveling all day. So I leave my house at 5 in the morning on Thursday, and I get in at like 8 o'clock at night. But
do you have like another 6 or 7 hour layover somewhere?
Just like it's like a 3-hour layover, and having to be in the airport early and all that jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been doing it all my life, so it's
I was gonna say as long as you're mentally prepped for that day, I feel like it's probably not that bad. Just sit in the airport and people watch.
Yeah, I mean, I always get shit done in airports. I'm gonna be working on panels and stuff, so it'll be fine. We got a lot of good questions for our PAX panel. JP,
I'm more excited. I'm just gonna be real here. I'm more excited to see a D100 than I am for the actual panel. Because Adam's bringing a D100 to ask us I'm going to roll that, and that's how we're going to choose the questions because we have about 100 questions. So I'm going to roll D100, and whatever number I come up, that's the question.
Now, I mean, the thing about a D100 is it's basically a sphere, so it's not of any use to anybody. I'm just going to bring 2 10-sided dice, and we'll do it that way, because I know how you roll. I've seen you roll actual dice, and it'll just fly off into the audience on the first roll, and we'll never see it.
I'll bring the little roll box that we use for the live show.
All right. Maybe we'll stop by the Chessex booth and we'll pick up one of those awful golf ball dice, and you can roll it.
Let's do that.
If that'd make you feel better.
Yeah. Those are like what, $50? How much are those?
D100? I don't know. They're cheap.
I think they're kind of expensive.
I guess it depends on how much you value a die that's very difficult to
I want to get like a fucking steel ball with like some diamonds in it from Chessex, and then like the blood of a unicorn inside somehow, because they exist.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like those $15,000 headphones with diamonds all over them.
I've seen those. I like those. Yeah,
the diamonds make the audio sound better.
Yeah, the sound bounces off the diamonds.
Yeah,
it's good.
Why else would it be so expensive?
They use
for
some
cleaning
type
the
of
sound.
Egyptian wood that like mummies were buried with, or some shit on the headphones.
Yeah,
it's great.
You got to get some King Tut up in your ears.
Yep.
Cheaper ones have kind of like little flecks of coal that haven't been purified. There, that's some
low grade audio right there, Max.
Yeah, you haven't enjoyed
from a Babylonian forklift.
You haven't enjoyed Evanescence, so you've heard it filtered through 1,000-year-old diamonds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not so much.
That's true. Audiophiles know that.
Brought to you by Monster Cables.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, clean your sound with diamond ears.
What other panels are you doing?
You want to play some D&D? Can we play some Dungeons and Dragons already?
What are you doing? What else are you doing at PAX besides the roleplay panel? You have other panels, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm doing an Office Hours live episode, which is cool.
Okay, is that being streamed?
Take some GMing questions. I don't know. PAX is one of these things where they're like, "Would you like this to be streamed?" And every goddamn time you click yes, you're like, "Yep, check in the box. I want to stream it." And then every time they're like, "We don't have streaming in this." Or any.
Yeah, they always do that. They always do that. There's no streaming in this hall. Yeah.
Like, we don't. We're not set up for that. Except the big one. There's like one. There's always one or two that they stream from, and it's like the auditorium, and then the next biggest one, and then everything else. It's like,
I always check that box and get a streaming room, so I don't.
JP.
I think the roleplay one is. I think we're in the Falcon Theater, and that one's streamed. Yeah. I think so.
Did we? Okay, remember the West Marches one? Did that get streamed? Because that was in the biggest. That was the next biggest one they had. Okay,
I think it did.
So they stream from basically the biggest one and then the next one. So if you can score that next one, then you're A+. Yeah.
Max, I didn't ask what we're gonna start some D&D, but
we should start.
You good?
Fuck whatever I'm doing.
Give me 5 words on how you've been. 5 words.
Less sick. Shitty fucking. Oh, come on, man. I was gonna
just
whatever.
Cut out the curse
13, 14, 15, 16.
You're on a word. It's a hyphen, so it's only one.
Right.
Yeah.
Less sick computer problems sometimes.
Great.
I saw that you were having some problems yesterday. Did you get that worked out?
Yeah, I did. Just system restored back. I'm all good now.
Oh, that's good. It's nice when it's a software problem.
Yeah.
And not your hard drive.
Yeah,
I hope
it was a driver thing after a BSOD.
Hope my PC doesn't blue screen like it did last week. That would suck.
Shit, I just like summoned it. Fuck.
I'm knocking on some wood. I'm gonna apply the sacred unguent somewhere.
The sacred.
The sacred unguent. It's very, very sacred. I'm gonna pour some Soylent on it and hope it eats it.
Yes, the Soylent unguent. Hallowed be its nutrients.
Exactly.
It almost sounds like a Dark Souls boss.
This boss brought to you by Soylent, the Soylent unguent.
I want to do a character now that does that, and the way that I'll get his voice is by saying sacred, and then I'll be great. That'll be the fixer word that I can just go straight into the voice.
Two-of. All right.
Yeah.
Adam, last thing before we go. If you guys want to do the fan game, we got 4 slots available. I'm going to take it down in like, what's today, the 24th? I'll take it down on the 29th. So if you want a fan game with Adam DMing it, we got spots available over at patreon.com/roleplay, as well as, I think, 2 DM hangout spots. So you can go look into those now. And now we can start the show about the sacred unguent.
All right, the sacred unguents. Apply them.
Yep.
All right. So, my favorite virtual reality, the virtual reality of your imagination, is presently populated by our heroes, Personagetron Torbisher, Azrael, Raziel, and Volnak, you are deep in the lair of the Rock Gnome King, hated foe of all things Forest Gnome. And Personagitron, you've just been reunited with some of your people who are imprisoned by the Rock Gnome King in this little stony hall. So before you,
couple, it was like Rim and Grovel or something.
Something like that. Let me see. I wrote down their names.
Dim was one, and Ruth
Marla. Dim and Marla
was the other one. Okay. I can't remember the other guy. I don't think you knew the other guy's name, right? Or did he?
Dim and Marla. No, the little Smeagol looking guy. You haven't figured out what his name is. He's elsewhere. He's in shock. But you gave him some food, and he's coming around. And I believe you instructed them to stay here now that you've killed all the spiders and the monsters in the area. Tell them to stay here and hang out while you go.
Well, that's right.
You go and enforce justice on the Rock Gnome King. So, I guess all that remains then is to know where to. Where do you want to go?
Guys, I'm gonna take this one. I wish to move to this far top end. I see
into a rage.
I fly into a rage. So, right here. And there appears to be two people in this.
Yes. Yeah. So this door is partly damaged. There's some breaks in it that you can peer through. And inside, yes, you see in a blood-stained cell, two young forest gnomes. They too are covered in filth and grime. And even from here, you can tell that they are young. They're probably like 10 or 11, and they're twins. They're twin girls, and they're huddling under a blanket, and they can hear you like moving around, but they haven't come to the door or moved at all since you arrived.
So I'm just going to put my hands. There's bars still on the front of this?
It's a stone door, but there's like a panel that has broken away and sort of fallen in that you can peer into.
Yeah. So I'm going to lean in there and go,
"Hello, my name is Personagitron. I'm also a forest gnome. Are you all right?"
And they like whisper quietly to one another, and then one of them looks up, and she nods, but you can see that she's cautious. She's afeared of you, that you might be a trick.
So I'm going to say,
"All right, well, hold tight. We're going to get you out of here. We're going to open this door first, and then I'm going to get you some food."
And that's when I turn to Raziel or Azrael. I can't remember which one broke the door open with pure might. Or was it? No, it was Berg.
It might have been Berg, yeah.
Berg, come here and rip this door open, man.
Oh, very well. All right. Strength check, right?
Yes, it is indeed a strength check.
Dope. Let's do it. Here we go.
DC. This door is damaged already, so we'll say DC 15.
Fair enough. I think if I remember correctly, I smashed the shit out of the last one. This sets the tone for the rest of the engagement. Whoop! All right. Cool.
Not bad.
All right. You got 18. Well, I mean, technically, it's not a strength save. It's a strength check, but you would have got it anyway. You still got it. So
okay.
Yeah. So you grab the door, and this one, rather than coming off its hinges or sort of breaking free, it just sort of cracks in half. The top panel falls in and shatters on the floor, and then the bottom panel you can kind of wrench loose from the wall. Once you have done so, you can see into the cell. The two girls kind of scatter to the back of the room and kind of like hide as the cacophony of stone breaking startles them.
So I'm gonna put my hands out, and I'm going to briefly open my character sheet because I don't remember how many rations I have. I am at 3 more rations. I have 3 more rations, and I can still make good berries, which I'm going to kind of save for later because I just don't want to waste that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to walk up to them very slowly with my hands out, and I'm going to go,
"It's all right. It's all right. We freed the others. Here, have some food."
And because they're very small looking, I'm just going to take one of my rations. I'm also a little conservative. And I'm going to carefully slide it to them and then back away a little bit.
Okay. So they one of them reaches out and grabs the rations from you. And medieval like preserved travel rations tend to be like hardtack, like dried kind of bread, like a wheel of cheese, maybe some like sausage. And so they grab it, and one of the girls immediately starts just like chewing away at the hunk of cheese that you've given her, breaks off a piece and gives it to her sister, and the two of them are eating. And with crumbs of cheese and bread sort of like down the front of their smocks, they feast away at the ration you've given them.
I like that word
smock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
Into.
I like the words sausage and roll of cheese.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Does anyone else get abnormally hungry when you watch anything like Lord of the Rings and they're just like feasting away in like a haunch of meat?
You got that hunger for the lembus bread?
Yeah.
I promise I'm not going to derail.
The Great Feast.
But like, have you read Wise Man's Fear or Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss?
Yeah,
yes.
I haven't.
Oh my god, the descriptions of food! Oh my god. I read
medieval
those.
fantasy food porn is a long-running tradition.
It can be so simple of food, like literally just the basic most stew, and I'm like, I want stew.
Preserved rations are not very tasty, but when we think of, it's not charcuterie. It's like a hunk of cheese that is explicitly made. Well, it's not moldy. It's explicitly made not to go bad. So it's not necessarily like gourmet. But these kids haven't eaten properly in a long time, so they're excited and chewing away at the cheese. Mm-hmm. One of them looks up at you, Personagetron, and she's like, "Thank you," and like goes back to eating. Just like, cheeks are full of food.
Of course. We've freed the others and we've told them to wait upstairs. What are your names?
The one that spoke to you, the other one seems like shyer. The one that spoke to you, she says, I'm Fuzzwick, and this is my sister, Tinkle. You did this.
Together we are Fuzzy Tinkle.
You did this, Personagetron.
Purchasing the goat. Well, Fuzzwick and Tinkle, I know you're scared and I know you're very afraid, but can you tell us anything about what happened to bring you here?
Tinkle swallows the piece of bread that she was eating, and she says, the rock gnomes took us from our village, from mother and father. We haven't seen them in a long time. Without the sun to tell us when it's day or night, we lose track of time. The days come and go. They've been taking more. There used to be others in the cell with us. And then she looks at the bloodstain on the floor, and she says, the machines came to take them away. We haven't seen them since.
Well,
I feel this pit in my stomach knowing that they went through the same sort of horrors that I went through.
I promise you that it will all be over soon, and that you're safe now.
And I sort of gesture up the hallway.
You can go meet with the others, and just stay here until we come back. We've left enough food for you for a little while.
Fuzzwick shakes her head. Her little ratty ringlets kind of shake around her face when she does, and she's very sternly no, we want to come with you. And her sister is nodding. You can't leave us here.
Not safe
and
for you.
I think the two of them kind of in concert come running up, and they throw themselves at Berg, because Berg is the biggest one. And they grab your legs, Berg, and they're like, no.
I think Berg's just like, oh, fuck. And then continues to follow up and just like,
it will not be safe for you. You must join the others. You follow us, you will die.
Tinkle or Fuzzwick, you've lost track of which one is which now, says, if we stay here, the rock gnomes will come back, and they'll kill us for sure after they've seen what happened to the door. The others aren't brave, but we're brave. And then her sister says, that's right, we are. We'll be quiet, and we'll follow along, and no one will know we're there. Please? And they both look up at you with these big, limpid, pool-like eyes.
Do I know enough about gnomish religion to know who they would worship, Adam?
No, definitely not. You're very much part of the humanocentric religion of the world. Gnomes have their own mysterious ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to speak to them as
very difficult. You can make a very difficult religion check if you want. You want like a DC 20 or.
I'll at least make a check.
I'll give you a chance. There's no reason not to.
16.
Okay, so close, but like you.
I know they worship a god.
You vaguely remember that there's something to do with like the spirits of the land and stuff. If you had a druid in the party, you might be able to get a better angle on that. But
yeah,
not from where you're standing.
All right, I go to like speak, but then I hold my tongue.
Are they still just like clutching on to me then?
Yes, they are. You have gnome boots. They're just like holding it because they come up like just barely below your knee, and they've just glomped onto your shins and won't let go.
I mean, this is a really dumb question maybe, but is there a check that I can do to evaluate their combat effectiveness?
Yes.
That's not that dumb. I mean, you're a warrior, right? You know.
Make a perception check, I guess, or no, investigation. Make an investigation check. You're sizing them up.
They look to be about your size.
You can tell that they are children.
I mean, yeah. So here's the thing. I'll tell you this, and you know this just by being a gnome. I'm not going to give you any more, about them specifically, but they're gnome children, and gnome children are real good at one thing above all other things, and that's staying out of the way and hiding, like being unobtrusive. They develop their natural illusion magic very early on, and they. All like gnome children learn games of like hiding. Hide and seek is like the main jam when you're a little gnome, because the world is full of big, scary, threatening things, and there are so few gnomes. So you can trust them at least to like stay out of the way. But if something finds them and they do get into a fight, it's gonna end up with some dead gnome kids.
He's such a bastard, Adam. Why do they want to come? Why don't they just listen to me?
I mean, you could try to impose your will as the fucking folk hero, Sean.
Yeah, you're a fucking folk hero.
Tell those motherfuckers to stay here, Sean. We don't have time for this shit.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kneel down. And I'm going to say to them,
I want you both to listen very carefully to me. I do think that you'd be able to stay out of the way. You both look like strong, bold children to have been able to survive this long. But we're going somewhere that is extremely dangerous. I have come here and lost many friends, and I thought that all the forest gnomes had gone. But to see children again brings me such great joy and hope. Both of you, I beg of you, please stay here, meet with the others, and we will try to rebuild the Forest Gnome Kingdom together after I am back from this dangerous journey.
All right, make a persuasion roll. I mean, you're a gnomish folk hero. That was a rousing speech. Make it with advantage.
Persuasion?
Yeah, persuasion with advantage, please.
Oh, God. It's just like, I roll 2 2s. It's like the children don't buy your bullshit for 1 second.
Oh, 21.
So that advantage really helped. So they kind of unclasp from Berg's legs and look at each other, and they actually have a short conversation in a language that you don't understand but sounds like bits and pieces of gnomish. So they just kind of like, one of them says something and the other one shakes her head and says something back, and then they both look up at Berg and then at you, Percentratron, and they're like, one of them, again, you've lost track, says, okay, we'll stay here, but you have to promise you're coming back.
I promise, Adam.
And I tell them,
don't worry, we've gotten all the scary monsters and machines out of the way. They're all gone now. You're going to be nice and safe right here.
All right. So do you take them out to meet with the others?
Of course, yes. I go with them. I'll even drag them down.
Here's my goat, Furchison. Yeah, this is Furchison. Say hello to Fuzzwink and Tickle.
Tickle.
All right, so they both, one of them like wraps her arms around Ferguson's neck, and the other like petting his back, and they're quite happy to see. They haven't seen a goat in some time.
The goat purrs loudly.
Gnomes love goats. Yeah, it's a gnomish purring goat, of course. And they're talking to him, and Yeah, and he makes a noise and they giggle. And Dim and Marla don't really like react much to the kids. They kind of like look at them and then look at you and then kind of go back to their own little like space. But yeah, they look like they're gonna stay here.
Now,
go ahead.
Fuzzwick Tinkle, this is Dim and Marla. I've known them for a long time. Would you both please look after Fuzzwick and Tinkle?
And yeah, Dim nods at you. He's like, of course.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay.
While he's doing that, if I go further back and look at these cells, do these also have doors on them?
No, the doors are missing from those, or just they never had them. Remember, because the doors were installed later,
right
after they dug up this room.
I want to try to investigate all the walls in here to make sure there's not any trap doors or trick doors or anything like that.
Sure, you've got lots of time to make an investigation roll. Yeah, go ahead. Got a 9. Not that you can see. No, the area seems. I mean, it's unusual that only one of the cells is covered in blood. The blood is long dry, but other than that, no, there's nothing strange here. Ancient architecture, certainly interesting, but no hidden doors, no passages like that.
Here's a question I'll propose. Would I know what human blood tastes like? Would I be able to discern different types of bloods?
I'm going to go ahead and say maybe. If you want to scrape some up and like put it in your mouth.
Yeah,
I'll make another investigation check.
I'll put put a little bit of water on some of the blood and then scoop that up and try to taste it.
Can Berg see this? I would imagine he can.
Yeah. I mean,
he's just looking at him like.
So you want to know if you can tell the source of this blood.
To know if it's potentially someone else that was in here, or if it's the gnome's blood, or if it was another creature, or what.
Yeah, 15. Well, it doesn't taste like human blood.
Okay.
Definitely not human. I don't know that you've ever tasted gnome blood before. There's something. It's got like a sort of garbagey palate to it, like it's a little rancid tasting, and it's got like kind of an aftertaste of like like decay. There's a sweetness to it that's like kind of like the smell of trash.
Yeah, I always think those garbage-blooded gnomes.
Yeah,
garbage blood.
And this blood is everywhere in the room.
It's all over the floor. Yeah.
Okay. I'll walk out. Are they done? Are they just petting the goat or something like that?
Yeah, they're probably trying. You walk in the middle of them trying to convince Personagetron to leave Ferguson here. Be like, no, leave the goat, and they're like pulling on him, like, we want you to leave him, and you're like, no, we gotta go. And
okay, yeah. I walk up to him and
get your goat.
Scrape back my hood to reveal my fucking weird tattooed looking face and long hair, and say, "Were you the only ones in this room back there? Is that your blood?"
Fuzzwick or Tinkle says, no, there used to be more. As for the blood, it was there when we got there.
More of your kind or of my kind?
The other says, we've never seen anything like you before.
I mean, I'd look around of humans. Because there's no humans.
There's no humans.
Yes, I'm a human. Me.
She says, no, we hide from humans. Nasty tree cutters.
Damn, dude.
A fair assessment, I assume. That blood is different than most I have. And I kind of like gulp and look around, tasted, and I just maybe like try to say
real life Tony Chu, man.
Yeah, just say like very subtly, like I'm curious to know what else was in there.
Yeah, she just says, I don't know.
Have you heard cries how long have you even been in this cage? How long have you been down here?
One of them says, we've been here since we got captured. It's been a long time. They don't really know like dates or anything. And being like trapped underground and stuff for a long period of time, not seeing the sun, not having any way to know day or night,
or anything like that.
Yeah, it's real hard to tell.
And then there's an adult gnome, right? The two down here.
Yeah, there's Marla and Dim, and Marla has like is talking to the other twin, the one you're not talking to, and is like trying to like calm her down and like, but really is trying to calm herself down by going into like taking care of someone mode.
Yeah.
Azure is actually out here. She's watching the hallway.
I'll say to the other, and how about you two? Have you been in here since they captured the village? Do you know how long it has been?
Dim's like, no, we've been here a while, but I think the girls were here longer. We came near the end of the struggle when the war was all but lost already.
Did you ever see any? I cut him off.
He looks at you, Persnigatron, kind of like, it's okay, it's not your fault. Like he looks at you like, we tried.
I try to cut him off mid-conversation and say, did you see any other creatures, unlike yourself and unlike us, while you were in there?
Yeah, he nods and he says, the high priest and his creations. You can hear them coming. They clank and clatter, and the terrible smell, oil. You've seen many of those.
They visited here, this very room?
They would come and get prisoners, drag them away. The rock gnomes rarely did anything themselves. Laziness is a known quality of the rock gnomes.
How recently have they been here?
I think the last prisoners were taken a day or so. And he looks at Marla, who kind of nods like, yeah, that sounds right.
Was it always that frequency?
I don't know. I spent some time... I was ill. An old wound, you see. It's so hard to remember.
I understand. Thank you for being so candid about this. I must think on this. And I walk back into the room with all the blood and just sit down because I feel at home for the first time in a couple days.
Yeah, it's an ancient stone chamber with blood splatters all over the place.
Yeah.
You're all over this.
Perfect place for a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just disappear into that room for a while.
I mean, you can
Tinkle, come along here.
I mean, you can tell, Raziel, that it's not a ritual space. The blood here is the result of torture, like a conflict or something. Yeah, it's not like someone was sacrificed here.
Can I do a Dexter and try to blood spatter analysis the entire room?
Yeah, I feel like you've probably got all the information you're gonna get, but you could take a look around and try to look at the angles and figure that out. Your experience with blood.
Tonight's the night.
Make one more investigation check.
Oh, 19.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so this isn't the blood splatters of someone who was like dragged here that was injured and then left to bleed to death, right? It didn't spread out in a slow pool. It's like splashed around, and you can see like dots on the ceiling of blood. It looks like all the blood kind of comes from a central place and then is like thrown outwards in various directions. With a 19, I think you can tell that all the blood seems to come predominantly from two sources. And it's definitely more splashed around than you'd expect.
Okay. I'll sit and think about that for a while the rest are doing their thing.
Sure.
How much of JP stuff did I hear?
I was in the
pretty much everything he asked?
Yeah, everything, yeah.
I mean, yeah, anything he said, yeah.
So I'm suddenly starting to feel an odd sense of suspicion.
Uh-huh.
So I want to turn to Fuzzwick and Tinkle and say, girls, they're both girls, right?
Yes.
It's like two boys. I'm like, girls.
We're guys, damn it!
Yeah.
We have dicks.
You know the way children talk.
Yeah.
It's like, girls.
What? How did you wind up here?
Fuzzwick or Tinkle says, we already told you. They took us from our family in the village.
What was the name of your village? Where was it?
They look at each other pointedly, and then look back at you, and they say, the adults called it Overlook. It was in the north, up on the hill, and you know the place. It's an old like scout post where they're probably like goat herds have a little village, which is maybe why they like the goats so much. It exists. They're not just making it up.
I'm not just making it up.
No.
Do I know any facts about Overlook?
Make a history check.
Of course. And I gotta stop closing this thing. All right, history.
A 4.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, you know that it exists, and that's about all. Maybe you went through there, but I think by the time the army, the Forest Gnome army was like rallied, Overlook had already fallen to the Rock Gnomes. It was one of the earlier casualties of the battle.
I want to, after about 20 minutes, maybe I hear the questioning line of questioning come out from Personagetron. So I want to walk out from the room, and then on one of the kids, whichever one it is, I can't tell them apart, obviously. I want to cast Friends, and it's a nonverbal. It's just somatic and whatever the material, I guess. And I want to cast Friends on one of them and see if it works out.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Sure.
So I just have advantage on charisma checks.
Yeah, it gives you advantage. So you ensorcelate one of the children. It's Tinkle or Fuzzwick.
Okay. And I will ask, it's 1 minute of concentration, so will you allow me to have 1 minute of dialogue?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'll ask the kid, what is your real name?
She's like, I'm Tinkle. That's Fuzzwick. I know we play games sometimes and mix each other up on purpose, but that's who I really am. And Fuzzwick is just like nods, like, yep, we're being real.
And how old are you again?
She says, we're 11.
And this Overlook town, this is where you're from, correct?
It is. That's what we said.
I turn towards Personagetron and say, maybe through awakened mind, and ask, is there anything that we can try to test their truthfulness here?
You say that to who?
To Personagetron in his mind. And I look at him and I'm like...
Raziel uses the shine to beam his thoughts into your mind.
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to...
Think back, damn it, Snidgy. Think back. Before the Rock Gnome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, I got it, Max. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm just gonna communicate back to JP. Like
you can't
communicate back to
you
Razzle.
You can't talk back to me. You have to.
You
have
can
to
speak it
verbally
out loud.
talk back to me. Yeah.
Maybe you should ask about the blood.
You know, what are fucking shit? Okay, if they know about the right now something doesn't feel right to me. Something feels a little odd about these fucking children because of JP instilling doubt in me. Maybe he's just fear mongering and he's just twisted everything around. But I don't know. There's kids in this something's weird with this blood spatter and shit.
Well, so maybe that's a good like visual moment to go to break on, right? Like the two girls just kind of standing, like looking innocently around, like, hey, look at all these new friends we made. Yeah, and Furchison kind of bleeding nervously as you have a hand on his neck, just kind of looking like something's not right here. And then we fade out on Personagetron's nervous look.
Okay, I'll get physical with the kids after the break because I just had a great idea to test something. So,
that's where we're from.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll figure out exactly what that means. Don't go nowhere. Still 3 hours left to go here on Court of Swords, week 22, I think, maybe 23. Anyways, we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. We'll see you then.